Long run, let's talk about all of this. Erin Sykes joins us. Erin, the founder of Sykes Properties, which is based in Florida, New Jersey, here in New York as well. So you have a pretty good sense. Good to see you again of the country and these markets. And what about that part about in the short run? And this is true of a lot of industries. These costs could be going up in the long run. Maybe it pays off. How do you see it?
Exactly. I think an intelligent investor is always in it for the long run. And I think we've gotten into some bad situations and bad habits over the last few years because we've been able to flip homes for a profit for 20, 30, even 100% profits in some areas after a short period of ownership. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Typically, you see home price appreciation of about 4% a year, just above, general 2% rise in cost of living.
Right.
So we're coming back to basics here. My concern is that the short term people will overreact like they did in the stock market last week.
Have you seen, actually, that was what I wanted to talk to you about. I was curious about, in any of the markets, whether it's Florida or in this area in the Northeast, are you seeing people making moves based on what they think the environment is going to be like? And if so, what are the moves? What are people doing right now?
So Florida has been running 6 months ahead of New York and New Jersey, and that's been over the last 5 years. We saw Florida start to fall apart last year, and now we're starting to see the rumblings in New York, in the Hamptons.
What does fall apart mean?
Well, just see the major price reductions. So now, that's not to say we're going to have a housing crisis. It's just to say that people are getting religion and they're starting to pull back their expectations to something that's frankly more relevant and more realistic.
So we haven't seen until now, but you think we are around here, like it seems no matter what prices, even if they don't go up as much, it's still going up. And for the most part, in and around New York City, suburbs. But you think that even these kind of markets, something's coming? What's coming?
I think we're going to be flat. And I mean, people look at that like it's something terrible, but after appreciation of 30 and 40% per year, it's absolutely nothing to scoff at. And last week, Zillow actually changed their expectations. They thought we were going to be 4% up for price appreciation this year. They're now saying that there's going to be about a 1% pullback, so more or less flat. That said, I also saw some major price reductions in West Palm Beach this week. We had one penthouse that was listed at $10 million, dropped to $7 million. We had
that percentage-wise,
huge.
Some people say they can't relate to the prices, but that's a huge percentage. Think about that.
Absolutely. And then the same thing, a little bit more relatable. There's also a new construction townhome that was listed at 1.9 that dropped to 1.3. And personally, I got a deal last month for a client where it was list price of $6 million and we got it for $3 million. So there are deals out there. And I'm not saying
that $6 million might have been way off the pricing, right? Sometimes people try to get a little too much, but you see in this environment, but that is kind of an interesting adjustment. Does anything really worry you? I mean, we went through a disaster in the 2008 time where, there was stuff brewing. Is anything brewing here, or is this more normal? What worries you, if anything?
So obviously the demand for mortgages has pulled back, but the demand for private lending has really blown up. And that's because if you look at the big picture of the economy, we have the highest balances on our credit cards that we've ever seen. We have the most auto loan default ever. We had the tariffs fall into place the same week as we had taxes due for the year. So I think people are out ahead of their skis. Hopefully we can rein it in before it becomes a bigger problem, but there are cracks in the foundation.
So worry about the American consumer then?
Yes.
Because of that. Oh, okay, Erin, thank you for coming. It's interesting information, especially if it's the start of some sort of a trend. So hopefully come back, keep us updated.
For sure.
Erin Sykes on that. Quick break. We'll talk to Chris Starwalt before he hosts The Hill, which is filling in for Blake. We'll be right back with Chris.